Hybrid war, it's talked about all the time with Ukraine, but what is it? I'm Dr. Kay, a political scientist, and if you stay for the whole 6-minute video, maybe you'll get extra credit at the end. Lately, we're used to having hybrid meetings, hybrid classes. It's a hybrid life, and hybrid means mixed, and hybrid threats combine military and non-military threats in covert and overt ways. We know about war. It's kinetic. We can see it. But hybrid war isn't easily identified. It includes disinformation, cyber attacks, economic pressure, the deployment of irregular armed groups, and the use of regular forces. Unlike pornography, where someone once said, if you see it, you know it, hybrid threats or hybrid war are hard to spot because it blurs the lines between war and peace, between positions, opinions, and it attempts to create doubt in the mind of target populations. And doubt is best created by staying within the bounds of plausible deniability. Let's look at Ukraine. When Russia started its aggression against Ukraine in 2014, a range of non-military actions were wrapped up in extensive disinformation efforts and official denials. Think about the now infamous Little Green Men, these irregular armed forces that didn't have any military insignia showing up in Crimea, and they took control of the peninsula. And soon after, in eastern Ukraine, a collection of armed thugs and Russian forces took over enclaves in the region of Donbass, claiming to be Ukrainians. Many knew these troops were Russian or Russian-backed, but the evidence was discounted by the Kremlin. Then socio-political polarization in Ukraine was exploited, and the credibility and the motivation of witnesses called to question, all while the procedures of rules-based international law were used to draw out international investigations. Already in 2015, Russian President Vladimir Putin admitted that it was him. These irregular troops active in Crimea were nicknamed the Polite People. Now, even in Russian gas stations, you can find them as action figures. What happened in 2014 was a full fusion of conventional as well as unconventional instruments of power and tools of subversion. Another sign of hybrid war is when the line between war and peacetime is rendered obscure, along with who is involved. The talk of Ukraine being a proxy war shifts closer and closer to supporters of Ukraine being at war with Russia. The discussion of sending main battle tanks to Ukraine in January 2023 is a good example of this. And hybrid war is mixed warfare, but it can take place below the threshold of war. I know, you might say, my country's not at war, but really? It isn't? Maybe it is. Maybe in your country there is a malicious focus. When hybrid warfare is conducted under the threshold of war, like I said, it's hard to spot, and with no overt violence, it's really cost effective. It's easier, cheaper, and less risky. Think about how much a tank costs, or a Patriot missile battery. A cheap military drone even costs around $20,000. Hybrid warfare can be conducted by a group of trolls in a basement, and they're happy to work for next to nothing. The costs and risks are less, but the damage is still real. So real that military experts now even say that there can be a war without any direct combat or physical contact. Hybrid attacks are about the vagueness. Who's responsible for the Nord Stream 2 pipeline sabotage in September 2022? Do you know? Is it your hunch that it was Russia? Or maybe you think it was the US? We don't know. It's the perfect vagueness. But plenty of people have an opinion that feeds into their confirmation bias. And if you recognize that you live in a world where it could have been anyone, some people see this as a reason to be completely apolitical and keep out of everything. And complacency can also be a goal of hybrid warfare. The uncertainty, the questions, the doubt. This leads to lack of trust. The expression fake news is tied to hybrid warfare. Building trust is the only way to stop hybrid threats. There are plenty of examples how polarizing topics can be used to weaken a society's trust in government or their information sources, whether it be safety about vaccines, the reliability of elections, if Russia's invasion of Ukraine was justified for whatever reasons. By creating distrust and discord, People, countries, and international organizations can't work well together, and that's bad if there's an aggressor to face. Think about the varying levels of fear of nuclear attack in European countries. Some countries in Europe are much more afraid than others, making use of a nuclear threat a great tool to stop consensus building in the EU. What takes the center stage here is the role of civilians, how they think and act in relation to the state. This can be affected by how politicians communicate with the public, transparency, and how digital and social media platforms allow hybrid actors to influence. This can also be influenced by media habits. Countries which support independent journalism as part of their culture are better off. Feel better informed? Make sure you subscribe to let me know this is worth your time and mine. And for those of you that stayed until the end, here's my cat, Chucky, as a bonus.